Let's bring in Reggie Miller. Reggie on the call for the Warriors-Knicks on Sunday tonight. He's got Cavs at the Bucks, 8 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. What do you remember about your March Madness experience?
I think my senior year, going against, in the first round, Dan Marley, and I believe it was Central Michigan, beating them, and then thinking that we were going to have a clear-cut Sweet 16 berth because we played good old best name, Fennis Dembo in Wyoming, thinking, okay, we're going to run through them, and then we were going to get the matchup that everyone wanted to see because we never played one another. It was Greg Anthony and UNLV and those high-octane running Rebels. That was the matchup. We overlooked Fennis. He cooked us. He cooked me. And we lost to Fennis Dembo in one. And the Cowboys, that's probably what I remember most my senior year.
But how does that work? Explain that experience. That here's Fennis Dembo, who wasn't a good NBA player. You became a Hall of Famer. But on that day, he was a Hall of Fame player against you guys.
And that's the beauty of March Madness. It doesn't matter what seed you are. Remember, you're playing on neutral sites. You're not playing at home. Everyone is somewhat equal because of these neutral sites. And we overlooked Wyoming, and this was a blockbuster game for them. And Fennis Dembo punched his ticket to the NBA from that game. And it was a disappointing loss for my Bruins.
How long does it take to get over a loss? Well, that was your last game.
It was. I fouled out. I didn't play great. It's difficult, but you dust yourself off and move on. But it's one of those losses that you hope you grow from. And sometimes when you have losses like that, that's your best teacher.
Yeah.
And you learn from it and you move on.
Better team, in your opinion, more talented, Running Rebels or the Fab Five?
Wow. Very similar in terms of how they approach the game. Now, are we talking about the one UNLV team that went undefeated and won the championship versus Duke? Because that team was unbelievable. With Grandmama, Stacey Ogden, Greg Anthony. I mean, they were loaded. But in terms of culture, right? I mean, you've got to think of the Fab Five. I know they didn't win a championship, but they changed the landscape and how we thought with Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, my boy, Jalen Rose. So culture-wise, I'll go with the Fab Five. But, I mean, you got to remember, those Running Rebels teams, they did win a championship.
Okay, but more talented. If I go starting five, Fab Five against the starting five at UNLV.
I would probably more talented would be the Fab Five.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, Larry was great. I thought Stacey was going to be even better.
He was good. He was good. But because of his length, you thought at 6'8", 6'9",
yeah.
He had a 7'2" wingspan. But he was good in the NBA. He wasn't great. He was good. Greg Anthony had a good NBA career. But let's face it, that Fab Five team, Jalen Rose was great. We know about C-Webb. Juwan Howard had a long NBA career, now coaching. So, yeah, I think career-wise, you go with the Fab Five.
Talking to Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer. You know, I don't go out of my way to talk about the Lakers. But when they do something and they're winning and they're, a game and a half up on Houston. So now, if they get into the top four, now, maybe there can be a magical run here. But I don't know what's different in the last, 2 weeks or so. They won 6 in a row, and we've seen LeBron almost embrace that third wheel of, I'm going to defer. I'm going to pass. I'm going to let these two guys. Is it that simple? Because they still have to play defense.
It's that simple. And you're right. At the end of the day, the defense will either do them in or that'll be the defining moment for them. And I think they're starting to understand how the roles will be situated because LeBron was out for those few games. That's when they started this win streak. And between Austin Reeves and Luka, they were carrying them offensively. Let's give Marcus Smart a lot of credit. He's not getting enough. People aren't talking about what he's doing at both ends of the floor. Defensively, he's been unbelievable for them. And on top of that, because of all the double teaming on Luka and when Reeves drives and penetrates, him knocking down big time 3-point shots. When he was with Boston and when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year, he almost is reverting back to that Marcus Smart. So I think guys are starting to understand. They're getting something out of DeAndre Ayton in the middle, something that we hadn't seen all season. So guys are starting to figure it out. But at the end of the day, Theodore, the Lakers are going to be judged by their defense. And last night, how they played defensively in that win on the road in Houston in a huge game with, there's only a game separating them. I know they play again on Wednesday, which will be another big-time game. But the Lakers are starting to – there's always expectations with the Lakers. Just like with Boston, there's always going to be expectations to win. And we dissect every single thing they do because one has 18 championships, the other one has 17. That just comes with the territory of playing with one of these blue blood NBA franchises.
The SGA foul baiting, some players have brought this up as a player who did this and, openly admits that he did it. What does the NBA do about the way SGA plays, if anything?
I don't get it. I don't understand what foul baiting is. We didn't say this about MJ, and MJ went to the line 10 plus times. James Harden was in that same category, went to the line 10 plus times. Giannis, I don't understand this. You play the game and you try to take advantage of whatever rules or how they're calling the game. Games change from night to night. I know there's a general consensus of how you're supposed to play, but you have different officials each and every game. He is not, what do you call it, rage baiting and
foul baiting
every single night. He's attacking the defense. Are some calls questionable? Absolutely. But I just don't get it why he gets called out all the time. Last night, Jaylen Brown's been calling this out all the time. He shot 21 free throws last night.
Well, maybe he's learning from SGA how to bait.
Then thank you. Learn and adapt. Learn and adapt. That's what you've got to do.
Okay. I brought this up and I got some criticism that I thought that maybe SGA is kind of a younger DeMar DeRozan. Now, DeMar DeRozan has almost 27,000 points.
Yeah.
Not exciting.
Yeah.
Methodical, consistent, going to get you 20 at least, which is what SGA gives you.
And future Hall of Famer.
Yes. Now, we don't talk about anything else with SGA except for his scoring. Nobody brings up passing. Nobody brings up defense. Nobody brings up any of that. It's just he is a bucket. He is going to score on anybody. And I thought, DeMar DeRozan has been doing this. Now, he hasn't done it for great teams, maybe not anywhere near the level of SGA as an MVP, but is that a fair offensive comparison between DeMar DeRozan and SGA?
It's fair, but I will say this. He's just not a bucket SGA. He's been top 5 in steals, so he does play defense. He is a two-way player.
Okay.
And he leads his team in assists, so he does distribute the rock. But why is he getting all this hate? To me,
well, that's not hate. That's not hate. I'm just saying we always look at a comp. I don't know who the comp is for SGA. We do that for all of these players. Now, certain players, there isn't a comp. Like Joker, there is no comp.
Right.
Giannis, there is no comp.
Well, if DeMar DeRozan is the comp to SGA, I'll just ask you this. If you flip-flop them and you put DeMar on that OKC team, do they win a chip? Are they 54 wins right now? If you just flip them right now, or even make it a younger DeMar, because DeMar is a little bit older, Are they still winning the chip with DeMar? And is SGA and is Sacramento better?
Well, they would be better, but they're not winning anything. But if DeMar was in OKC, I think that OKC team is that good that he wouldn't be. Another thing is SGA is a great closer. I mean, we haven't seen DeMar DeRozan in games where you go.
Hold on, DeMar DeRozan is a great closer too.
Well, he just hadn't played in big games where we notice it. With SGA, we did see it. So maybe it's meant as a compliment, but it's just because they're mid-range. They can get to the hoop. Nothing fancy. Just it's kind of like
they just go about their business, and both are bucket getters. Don't get me wrong. People need to understand. Remember DeMar DeRozan when he was in Toronto. When he was in Toronto, he was a straight bucket getter. And again, the whole trade for Kawhi, and then they went. He just hasn't been on the national stage long enough for people to understand that. But remember, 27,000 points in the NBA.
Yeah, I know.
People need to remember that.
All right, who surpasses Adebayo? Bam Adebayo's 83 points.
Who can?
Yes. How many players do you think could get 84 points or more?
I think Luka could. I believe Ant-Man could. I believe a Jason Tatum could. But things would have to fall into place. And again, I know you and I were probably going to go there on this conversation with Bam. I talked about this Sunday night about Spoelstra and Bam, the criticism kind of taken for how they got to the 83. You're a shooter. You were a scorer, Theodore. And I want Paulie, as I'm talking, to look this up. If you got 31 at the end of one, if you got 43 at halftime, I believe he had 70 early in the fourth. Am I correct on that, Paulie?
He had 64 after three.
He had 64 after three. 70 with like 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth. Are you kidding me? You have to at least attempt to go for it by any means necessary.
Well, at that point, you can't accidentally get 64. You can't do it in a gimmicky way.
Right.
He didn't do that. And that's
he didn't. There was no gimmicks to the 64. So now from 64 to 83, that's where it gets a little murky or muddy. But I do not care. I know in the fourth he was only like 1 of 6 from the field, and most of those points came from the free throw line. Correct?
Yeah. I have no problem with, the Wizards are the ones who should be embarrassed.
Thank you.
Not Bam Adebayo.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I did ask him this. I said, did you think about stopping at 81 because your idol, Kobe, had 81? He said, no.
No.
Because Kobe would want me to go for, if it was reversed, Kobe's blowing by 81.
And people think, when I said that I was hating on Kobe. I would never hate on Kobe and his accomplishment. It uplifts that performance. To me, it uplifts what Kobe did, him getting 83. I mean, that's unbelievable for them to be 1-2. We're not going to look at Kobe's 81 and forget about it. It was 2 totally different games. Kobe needed every one of those 81 in that performance versus Toronto. Bam's was a little different, but in 5, 10, 15, are we even going to be talking about that? We're just going to look at the stat sheet and say, oh my God, Bam Adebayo had 83. Kudos. 83.
I know.
Come on, man.
But as he said, he goes, look, I didn't fit the agenda. Because I said, why does it feel like you have to apologize for getting 83? And he said, because you don't expect me to get those numbers. And therefore, people have a problem with it. Like, he had to do it in a gimmicky way.
Right. And that's why you should almost reverse that. We should be celebrating him. Like, oh my God, a guy that never, ever gets the shine. He's been a great defensive player, a great team guy, rebounder, defender, has won gold at the Olympics for our nation. We should be celebrating Bam. Like, this is great. I don't care how you got it, Bam. Congratulations, because you'll probably never, ever have. His career high was what? 41 once?
Yeah.
So why can't we celebrate? I don't care how he got it. He got it.
Okay,
Let's
but
celebrate that.
I always thought if you were going to beat Kobe's, you had to be able to shoot the three. Right. You had to be ball dominant. You had to be able to create your shot, and the game had to be close. Had to be competitive. And so I see Luka as a guy who could go for that. Yeah. I mean, he's got the talent to do it.
I think Tatum shoots enough threes.
But you have to want to do that. You have to have a coach who lets you do that. You don't go out on the floor and go, I'm putting up 70 tonight. You just get into a rhythm where you go, all right, I got a good game going.
Look, and also, too, and I saw this, Kobe at one time had a 60-point through three and was up big. And
he sat out.
Yep. Klay Thompson had the same thing. He had 60 through three and was sat out. I think a young Stephen Curry, a 28-year-old Stephen Curry, not 38. I think a 28-year-old Stephen Curry in today's game, the way everyone's shooting, the way he approached the game could get 84.
It's just crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy to think about.
But you look at the point totals, Reg. Teams get 130 and lose.
Do you remember in the 90s and early 2000s, coaches saying, we can't give up 30-point quarters? 30-point quarters, that's you got 4 minutes left in the first.
That's standard practice now.
That's standard now.
Well, for a while it was first team to 100 or first team to 90.
Lawler's Law, right? First to 100.
That was bad.
Now it's nothing.
It's a nightly basis. Cavs and the Bucks, 8 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Thank you, Reggie. Good luck to your UCLA Bruins in the tournament.
Let's go. Men's and women's.
Oh, men's and women's.
We are bringing it home for the Bruins. Men's and women's. All right, let's do it.
That's Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer. We'll take a break. Last call for phone calls. What we learned. What's in store tomorrow after this? Guys, if your hair isn't playing like it did in your 20s, it might be time for a real comeback, not another workaround, because throwing on a hat is not a strategy. Start Nutrafol today and make the hat optional. Visit Nutrafol.com. Enter the promo code Dan Patrick.